As I record this video, it has been a very rainy day. I have to admit, I really like rainy days. They tend to put me in a really good mood, even though I realize it's the opposite for most people. So I've been spending portions of my day just sitting here in my office, staring outside, just watching the rain create a little puddle in front of the statue of Jesus or just drip down the windows. It's been really great for me. With this rainy day, there have been a lot of clouds, and the entire sky is covered with clouds. And, it made me think, for this weekend's first reading, we hear about the Ascension from the Acts of the Apostles, and we hear that Jesus was taken up, and it was a cloud that took Jesus from the sight of his apostles. And then the disciples are standing there staring up at the sky, probably a little confused, wondering what's going on. And suddenly there's two men dressed in white standing there in front of them saying, "Why are you staring up into the sky?" And then they promise that just as they have seen Jesus go away from them, he will be coming back to them the same way. So just as Jesus was taken away by the clouds, someday those clouds will part and they will get to see Jesus again coming from the clouds. This is a big deal because it means that Jesus is now ascending to go be with the Father. He takes his throne at the Father's right hand to reign from there. And he continues to live. That is a big point for the Gospels, and it's a very important point here at the very beginning of the Acts of the Apostles, that Jesus is alive. Jesus still lives. Jesus ascending to the Father doesn't mean that Jesus is now gone forever. Jesus still lives. We get that emphasized at the beginning of the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 1. We hear that Jesus had presented himself alive after his passion to the apostles after many proofs. That's an interesting word, proofs. So for 40 days, Jesus is appearing to them, and for them, these are all proofs. Now, St. Luke, who's writing the Acts of the Apostles, he makes distinction between proof and sign. A sign is something that requires some explanation. So we'll see that Peter heals the person who couldn't walk, and in that case, it's described as a sign. Just because the man is suddenly walking isn't proof that God did it, isn't proof that it happened through the name of Jesus Christ. But with some explanation, it's reasonable to understand, this is evidence that this man could do miracles in the name of Jesus. So that would be considered a sign. It needs explanation. But a proof is something that doesn't need explanation. It is evidence that is obvious in itself. So for St. Luke to use that word, that Jesus had given them many proofs of his living after his passion, that's a big deal. It means that the apostles are absolutely convinced. They don't have a doubt in their mind that Jesus has really risen from the dead. So when Jesus ascends to be with the Father, they don't despair. They know that Jesus still lives. Jesus is still present. But he's now present in a different way, right? Before his ascension, Jesus allowed himself to be limited to time and space. So he was in Bethlehem at a particular day at a particular time, and he's in Cana at a particular day at a particular time. And I'm sure if you, as one of the disciples, wanted to introduce your friend to Jesus, you would have to bring your friend to wherever Jesus was. And maybe he's preaching in Jerusalem that day, so you better bring him to that place and that time where Jesus is. So he allowed himself to be constrained in that way. But after the ascension, he's now with the Father. That means he is where the Father is, and the Father is everywhere. So if Jesus is everywhere, it means that we can encounter him no matter where we are, right? We can encounter him at work and at home, on the couch, laying in bed, watching TV, in the middle of conversation. We can encounter Jesus when we're feeling alone, when we are alone, right? Jesus can be present at all times, in all places. Jesus Christ really lives, and he is ascended to the Father in part so that he can be present to you wherever you are and whatever you're going through right now. There's no need to be like the disciples staring up at the sky, wondering where God is. Where has he gone? If we call on the name of Jesus and invite him in some ways, the clouds will part and Jesus will show up. God bless you.